Welcome to the Ayame show. Well, I don't know if it's actually going to be called the Ayame show. That's still up for debate because there's some other ideas that have come into the mix. Don't look at my fake nail that is missing. I'm saying that to the video, but a lot of you will be listening audio-wise. Here's the problem I have currently. I digress very often. In fact, I'm extremely unhinged. And I thought, what a good idea for me to be unhinged on a podcast. Can you hear those crisp sounds through this microphone? I got this microphone yesterday. Here's another confession. Am I starting this off okay? I don't care. Here's another confession. I actually have already recorded this first episode, hated it. So decided to reorder another microphone, which is this beauty right here. Crisp sounds. And re-record it. But my camera's about to die. We're going to have a wild ride. This is episode 1 of my podcast show. The name is yet to be decided, so I will have to re-record this. But the podcast is available on Apple and also Spotify. You can listen on both and subscribe on both. If you want to watch the visuals, they're on my YouTube channel, Ayame.P. Please also subscribe to that. I'm not doing this for fun. If you want to submit an agony or even sign up to my mailing list, you can do so on everythingayame.com. That's my website. Should we get on with the goddamn show? I think we should. We are back because I've strapped my camera to a plug socket. God, isn't this a high production value production? Does that make sense? Who cares? Long story short, my name is Ayame.P. I am a TikTok and Instagram content creator, all-round star, online personality, which means my personality usually is found online. Usually I don't have a personality outside of that realm. It's only until we hit the internet that I have one. But that's me. I started this podcast and recorded the first episode the other day because I've already told you. Why are you asking me again? Anyway, next question. You're probably wondering, I mean, for the people that are watching as opposed to listening. Hello, if you're listening. Hello. Isn't this such crisp sounds? Anyway, if you're watching, you're probably wondering, Ayame, why are you holding the podcast mic? Usually I see the professional podcast people with the mics kind of hanging overhead like a Jesus. I was a broke dumbass and did not think that I'd need to get a tripod. I thought I could use one of my camera tripods. Let me tell you, different holes. Every hole is different. Every hole has a different story. And this podcast hole does not fit in the same, does not have the same hole dimensions as my camera hole. Every hole has a story. And that leads me on to my next. Let me tell you about my hole. Life. Did you like what I did there? Let me tell you about my whole life. My dad's listening to this. Get your mind out the gutter. Essentially, I'm going to be answering some of your agonies that you send on my website, everythingayame.com, as well as just talking about topics that I'm pretty passionate about. That's what I'll be doing today. In fact, I'm gearing you up for the topic that I'm talking about. 2 words. First word is Brandy. Second word starts with M and rhymes with Hellville, because that's what it is. Anyway, where can you find this podcast? It'll be on Apple, on Spotify, and also when I do become extremely rich and successful, maybe on TV. Who knows? Who knows where things take us? Let me have a sip. Bear with. Fresh water. So my podcast will be out every week from the new year. This is kind of an introduction to who I am and what I'm going to be doing. For you to kind of see, is this the type of podcast I want to listen to? I bloody hope so. I truly hope so. I'm not actually looking at the camera. Anyway, that's irrelevant to you just listening. God, this is a minefield, isn't it? This is a minefield to navigate. For anyone that has ADHD, any kind of neurodivergency, you're going to really struggle here. Or you're going to find it at home. You're going to think, oh God, isn't this blessed? Someone else can't think on one thing for too long. Anyway, on to my rant. Shall we begin? I think we shall. The other day I went into a shop called Brandy Melville. Now, I'd seen the shop about. I know it's kind of popular in the Americas. I've seen the shop about in the UK. There's a couple of stores closer to central London. I'd seen them about, but never really thought, let me enter in there because I thought it was more of a teen shop. I wish I had still had that view the other day when I walked past a Brandy Melville. Now, my little sister is now a teen. And she wanted something from Brandy Melville. So I said, okay, fine, I'll get you something for your birthday from Brandy Melville. I missed the person I was before I went into Brandy Melville. I entered the store. The lights blinded me. It was extremely bright, okay? First of all, turn that down, okay? I missed the Hollister days when I couldn't see a blooming thing. The lights blinded me, and as I'm walking around, I saw just basics, really. They were just basic tops, just little basic tops, similar to the top I'm wearing now, but more of a ribbed pattern. And I do like a basic from time to time, let's be honest, because they do just kind of fill the moment, fill the fashion moment. I picked up one of the basics and thought, I think I'd quite like that top. It was a grey ribbed top. I said, do you know what? This would go well with just something else basic. So I search through the hangers, looking for my size. I usually run about a 10 to 12, usually a 10 or 12 on the top because of my fat breasts, and a 10 or 12 at the bottom because of my fat disappointment of an arse. I don't have a big arse. But I do have wide thighs, childbearing hips. But I'm not ready for that. Stop asking. Anyway, I am looking for a size 10 to 12. If there were no 12, I would have got a 10. Looking, to no avail. There's nothing there. Do you know why? Because in big, bold letters at the bottom of each tag, it says, one size. One size. Now, that alone had me aghast. That alone made me think, what kind of establishment is this? Sorry? Excuse me? One size? But what size reference are you going off? Because I know the size that I'm looking at that you've claimed for all of the tees that you've put on this here rack. I know that the size that you have referenced is not the average. It's not even the average teen. The size here is not for me. Now I understand how those white people feel when something isn't for them. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean this isn't for me? What do you mean this isn't this type of store for me? Now, you could just tell me, Ayame, you could have just gone to an H&M, which is where this is from, and got yourself the same tee. Could have just done that. No. How dare you not cater to my size? I am the average, I would say. I think I'm the average. I think 10 to 12 is the average size, or 12 to 14. So the one size that they decided to choose, I'm going to say it was a 6 to 8. Let me tell you why I know it's a 6 to 8. Because my little sister is a size 4 to 6. I thought, let me not stop here. Let me have a walk around. Let me have a walk around and see what else this Brandy has to offer. Whoever Brandy is, you and me have an issue. I said, let me walk around, see what else Brandy has to offer. Nout. She has nout to offer. Because everything else, I saw a one jersey maxi skirt. I said, who in the hootin' heck is wearing this? First of all, sorry, am I screaming at you? I'm looking at the sound levels on my here laptop. If I'm screaming at you, I'm so sorry. Just turn the volume down. I'll go back to my hush tones. I walked around and I saw nout. Nothing of offer that would appeal to me other than that grey ribbed tee. I ended up buying the tee. Let me just say that. Haven't yet tried it on. I'm still kind of waiting until my mental health is a bit higher, till I've kind of recovered from that, to then wear that. And let me tell you something. When I usually go shopping, I'm quite a confident gal, okay? I am pretty much, I love my body, really. That store, that made me question some things that day. Did I go for a run later on? Maybe. Because as I'm walking around, I did see some teens and I thought, okay, maybe this store is just not age appropriate. I don't care about that. And here's the thing, I said this to my dad. I spoke to my dad about it. Hey, Dad, if you're watching, I love you. Please say it back. Anyway, I said this to my dad the other day. I told him about the experience I had getting his other daughter, his little skinny athletic daughter, a Brandy Melville gift card. And he said, well, maybe the store just wasn't for you. You know, it's for teens. When I was a teen, and a lot of my friends when I was a teen were built not like that. They were not built like Zoe 101 and the cast of Zoe 101. Okay? I feel like and this is another thing about social media. We digress. I feel so sorry for the teens of today. I feel so sorry for the young girls of today that are just in the process of starting to love themselves and hate themselves, really, simultaneously. In the process of starting to kind of get used to their bodies and have their bodies change and start to really know what they're going to look like. And having to compare themselves to the sizes on Brandy Melville, having to squeeze into a shirt in Brandy Melville. Let me tell you, if you are a teen listening to me right now, stop listening. I'm swearing. Stop listening right now. This is not for you. But if you are listening right now, please do not think that Brandy Melville and any other thing that you see online that is that size and that kind of esque is representative of the average. Because it is not, my darling. It is not, my sweet baby angel. But my skinny sister, anyway. This is why I started the podcast, because that was so nice to just talk about to whoever's listening, really. I'm not too sure who is. Probably my neighbours. The walls are very thin. But it's nice to just get that off my chest. I mean, I need about 10 minutes more to really make this worthwhile. Maybe we should answer some questions, shall we? This podcast, let me just make it very clear. It's very unlikely that this podcast will have a format. Do you know why? Life doesn't have a format, nor do I. Tee-hee-hee. Just took a moment to think there. Should we get into some agonies? I think we should. Let's dive in. Now, this first agony I thought I would talk about because it's something that I've actually experienced this week. Not this week. Yeah, no, this week. And the week... What week are we in? What day is it? No, last week. It's something I experienced last week. And it's about dating and making the first move. Shall we read it? Let me find it, actually. Just a disclaimer that all agonies are anonymous. Anything that you do submit to me via my website, everythingayame.com, is anonymous. I will not air out your dirty laundry with you stood next to me. What I'm going to do is air it out, let everyone see it, with you in the house still, and then when it's dry, I'll give it back to you, and you can get in your blacked out car and leave my house. What a lovely analogy for what I'm doing here. Anyway, this person obviously isn't that great with writing. Not to attack you already, but girl, you need to practice your grammar. Unless you're a foreign and this is your second language, then wow, you're doing really well. Dear Ayame, I thought it was very clear that a guy I know likes me from how he's flirting with me. But he isn't making his move and asking me out. And I've tried to encourage him and give him the nudge to do so, but he is dragging his feet. What do I do? See how I changed that there? You can't see because you don't know what the original is. Long story short, this happened to me this week. I met a guy in person. Ha, ha, ha. I don't touch those apps. In person, I met someone and we were chatting over a message. And for me personally, here's my personal timeline. If I meet you on a Monday, I expect a date request to enter my messages by the Wednesday to Friday. Let me tell you for why. You need 3 days to know that I am extremely, extremely funny, entertaining, and beautiful. No longer, you don't need any more than those 3 days, honey boo boo. I need you eager to see me. If you want this to last, I need effort from you. And therefore, if a date request doesn't hit my inbox by a Wednesday after 3 days of you first getting in contact, something's going on here. Either you don't like me enough, which is fine, weird, but fine, or something else. And we'll find out what that something else is. Because I need someone really eager to see me. because it's kind of telling how you will last throughout our interactions, let's say. So this person, it got to, if I met him on the Monday, it got to the Sunday. No date request. That's a good old 6 to 7 days. No date request. So I messaged this person and said, do you find me attractive? Do you enjoy speaking to me? Do you find me entertaining? Huh? Am I someone that you could enjoy a night out with? And he said, yes, of course. And I said, so why the hookin' heck are we not on a date? Sorry for screaming at you. Why the hookin' heck are we not currently on our way to Nobu? So that's my first piece of advice. Ask why this person who is so seemingly into you has not asked you out. Because the reasons that this man gave me were, it's not his process. He likes to get to know someone a lot more over message to avoid any awkward scenarios whilst on a date. Irrelevant for me because I'm extremely entertaining. But, you know, it's understandable for people that are more socially shy. That could be reason 1. 2, financially, he may not be able to take you out. That's a no comment from me. That's a no comment from me. Get your money up. Anyway, 3. Michael Jackson in the house. Number 3, it may be that he's a bit shy, I guess. Maybe he thinks you're going to reject him when you ask him for a date. Weird as well, because get your confidence up. Believe in yourself, baby. If you want me to believe in you, you got to believe in yourself. My first piece of advice, my first piece of advice would be to ask this man or woman, they, them, whoever it is that you want to get in your knickers or boxers, whatever you want to do with this person, where's this going? I know we're currently in the talking stage, but I have a process that I work by. I just want to see whether you want to date me. Do you want to date me? Are you wasting my time? Let me know. Because that's another thing that's important to me. Just gonna bite my pen like a cutie girl. Anyway, you're making this person aware that the opportunity that they have to talk to you is not an easy one to get. You're increasing your self-worth and how you view yourself and how they in turn will view you by saying, sorry, just want to make sure we're all clued up and that you, my friend, understand the position you are in by being able to speak to me and having the opportunity to date me. Just want to make sure you're clued up on that. Now, I am, as I say, my self-worth and my feelings of self-worth and self-love are through the roof. I would encourage you to have the same feelings and know that this person, yes, you may be interested in them, but you have to really think to yourself and believe in yourself that their interest in you compared to your interest in them always has to be more. Always. Because it's an honor to date you, my darling. It is an honor to know you. It is an honor to speak to you, to understand how your mind works, to view you in person and have eye contact with you and have them look into your eyes and you look back and straight into their soul. It is an honor and a blessing. Believe that and therefore walk and act with that. I know I'm missing a nail. I still believe I'm that bitch. And that would be my advice to you. Step 1, ask why they have not asked you out. There may be a valid reason. Step 2, if they don't, you also want to think about whether this type of energy is the energy that you actually want to date. Let me take a sip of my drink. Bear with. You're going to want to question whether this energy is an energy that you want moving forward. Do you want someone that's more, I want that, I want this, and I want you. And therefore, if that's not the energy you're being given and you kind of have to set that energy off, is that what you want? Or are you happy to kind of be the instigator, so to speak? Are you happy to be the one that sets pace? Or do you want pace set on you? You have to question these things. You have to see whether this is really, really an option for you. Because, yes, you may like him or her or they or them. You may like thousands of others. do not lower your standards or your wants just because we get so wrapped up sometimes in why the hell haven't they asked me out? Why the hoot and heck have they not asked me on a date? Is there something wrong with me? Have I said something? Have I offended them in some way? Is it because I posted this and they thought, oh, maybe I don't like that? Have I given the ick? Stop looking inward, my darling girl or boy or they, them. My darling, stop looking inward. Start thinking, there's something wrong with you. Is this what I want? I'm not too sure. Because we get such in a panic. We get such in a panic about it. And then once we get it, we're kind of like, oh, I didn't actually want that. It was just kind of the fight of having to make you want me that made me more interested. That is my advice to you. I hope I've answered your question because I do digress quite a bit and I go from ha 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 ha. That means here to here to here. I think we can end the show there. I think that's a good introduction, quite a gentle introduction because, I mean, the way I give advice can be quite aggressive. I'll be quite frank with you. I am an aggressive babe. I am not in any way. I am problematic. I've never claimed not to be problematic. I'm also aggressive. And that is me. I know me well enough. Thank you so much. Oh, just burped in my mouth. I'm going to do that again. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And if you're viewing this on my YouTube, which is Ayame.P, as well as my Instagram and TikTok, again, Ayame.P, I appreciate you more than I can actually explain. My thoughts were that I would release this podcast and no one would listen. I'm talking to my camera, really. And maybe my mum and dad. Hi, Dad. Hi, Mum. But if you're not my mother or father and you're listening to this right now, I cannot put into words how appreciative I am. Appreciative I am. I appreciate you so much. If you feel as though this podcast hasn't been entertaining for you, then that's absolutely fine. Piss off. And if you are the darling that submitted your agony and you feel as though I haven't answered it, sorry. My podcast will be available, as I say, on Apple and Spotify in the new year. And I'm pretty excited about it. Still debating on a name. It's between two options. I'm waiting for my logo to come back. But again, it's been lovely to speak to you. By you, I mean this camera, who will transfer to you, and this microphone. And I hope to speak to you again soon. Have a lovely, it's Christmas time actually. If you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah, have a lovely, lovely holiday season. If you don't, have a lovely time off. And if you're kind of feeling low in this time, take a break. You don't got to be happy. I love you a lot. Goodbye.